Hey, what's up? It's been a while since we've all had a one-on-one conversation, just us as a group on this uh, community channel, YouTube place thing. In case you forgot, this is what I look like. But this is gonna be a rather serious video. It's not something that I take lightly. And I've been on the verge of making this video for about the past 2.5 weeks. And it's something that only few people in my life know about me. They're my friends and a couple people in my family, and that's it. So once this video is done, it's going to be out there. Alright? Now, so I'm trying to think of how I lead into this. I guess I should probably start from the beginning. When I was 9 years old, well, 8.5, not going on 9, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And when you're that young, you don't fully comprehend what breast cancer is. Like, you're thinking that it's just a bad cold that's going to go away in a few days. And I'm just like, oh, you have cancer. Okay, yeah, it's just going to go away. It's okay. And then the more that I realized that what was going on, I don't know how it clicked in my head, but I knew, oh, this isn't just a bad cold. It's just not going to go away. About a few weeks after she was diagnosed, she started the chemotherapy, and that's when I really started to notice the change. She got paler, she started to get skinnier, the alopecia, where your hair falls out, that started to proceed. And I'm just thinking, okay, this is definitely something serious. And it was hard for me to comprehend it, and it was definitely harder for me and my father to deal with it. Fast forward probably a good 9 months, or probably good 5 months. My mother and father were going to get a divorce. All right. And so my mother took me and we moved back to California, where and I was living in Arizona at this time, and we moved back to California with my grandfather and my grandmother. And so we moved back to California, and she continued her chemotherapy, and she was proclaimed cancer-free for probably 3 months, and then the cancer came back, and so she had to start it up again. This chemo was very expensive, and our insurance didn't cover it, so most of it had to come out of our pocket, and then we got financial aid from people in our family. My father had moved back to California with his parents as well. They were about 2.5 hours apart. And then she got sicker and sicker to the point where she finally had to make the decision. And she says to me, Jacob, I'm really sick right now, and I don't want you to see me like this. So until I tell you otherwise, you're going to go live with your dad. So pack a suitcase with some clothes, your PlayStation 2, just the necessities that you don't want to leave here, because you're probably going to be there for a while. And I'm like, oh, awesome, more time with dad, because I was only getting a visitation rights. And then let's see, that was probably February of 2009. February 2009, March 2009. And let's see. So, March 2009. I'm living with my dad and my other grandparents for about 2 months, and I hadn't seen my mom in about 2 months. I talked to her on the phone for a good 15-20 minutes every single night, telling her what was up, what I had done that day. And finally I asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, can I go see Mom this weekend? And he's like, yes, of course. And so I went there, and she wasn't anything like I remembered at all in the past couple months. She was skinnier, paler. She had to walk with a walker because the chemo was making her weak. And so I stayed with her for a couple nights, and then I moved back. Then I go back to my dad. Now fast forward to October. I see her for her birthday, and we see her, and she's getting worse at this point that she was back in the hospital. Go home. In November, we saw her again, and before we walked in to the hospital room, my dad says, Jacob, now I'm telling you this for you, okay? And don't be upset with me, but I think that this is probably going to be the last time that we're going to see your mom. I don't want you to say goodbye to her when we leave, though, alright? Instead, I want you to see you later. I'm thinking, okay, but she's going to get better, so I'm just going to say see you later, because we're probably going to visit a couple more times, and that's okay. That's okay. So she's in the hospital bed. She doesn't have the oxygen thing in the nose, but she had an IV. And we're talking, and we were there for probably a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I say, I'll see you later. And then that was that. December comes around, and I just got home from school. I'm doing some homework, and I got a call from my dad to come out into the living room. 4 o'clock, December 11th, 2009. And my father told me something that would change my life forever. And he said, Jacob, and a tear started falling down from his eyes. He said, Jacob, I don't know how to tell you this, but your mother went to go see Jesus. And I immediately couldn't comprehend it. My world had just crumbled in the matter of one sentence, just 60 seconds. One of the most influential people in my life just gone. And she went to go see Jesus. And I remember that night, and this is how I remember it when the movie comes out. We went to go see Princess and the Frog, the Disney movie, and we dedicated that movie to her, because December 11th, and it's, and then I started to slack off in school after that, because it wasn't because I was lazy about it. It was just because I was traumatized and I couldn't comprehend anything. I was bullied in school, and this was the first time that they had shown any interest in me, because they had known what I had gone through. For about a month, everybody was nice to me. All the girls in class was buying me teddy bears. Everyone was making me cards. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't want your fake sympathy. if you wanted to be nice to me, then you would have been nice to me from the start. But, so, I started to get really depressed. And at this point, I'm about 11, 12, going into middle school, 13-ish. And I still wasn't doing that hot in school. The bullying got worse. Constantly bullied. There was the only time I had ever been in a fight at school was because a bully had come up and asked me, "Hey Jacob, I just want to know when your mom died, did she go to heaven or hell?" And I just went. My friends had to hold me back. I didn't get in trouble for the fight because, I mean, it would have been a really garbage thing if they had gotten me in trouble for something like that. But my friends held me back that day. And yeah, but I was a slacker in school, and finally my dad started snapping, and I would get screamed at every single night. Neighbors could hear all that, and it didn't leave me in a good place mentally, and I'm still trying to recover from that. But mental health or mental damage, or mental abuse, stuff like that, is a bit harder to recover from than just it being words, I guess. I don't know exactly how to describe it because it's been so long since I properly sat down and thought about it. But the depression hit. I wasn't on any antidepressants because my teachers had suggested it, but we never wanted to go through with it. Because he didn't know how a mind-altering drug on a kid so young would affect my mindset, my mood, stuff like that. Like, if it would be different for a kid than adults. And then one night, it was a cold night. It was a winter. I don't remember exactly what night it was. It was probably in February, but the depression became too strong. So I went and I got a belt and I wrapped it around my neck. And it was on there for a good 25-30 seconds, about as hard as it can. As hard as I could make it. And I took it off because I'm like, I can't do this. It's one thing for my father to lose his spouse, but it's another if he has to bury his son. So I took the belt off and I struggled from there. And I haven't attempted that again ever since. I'm not on antidepressants because my depression and my suicidal action is not something that I am ashamed of. And I don't want a mind-altering drug in my system because it's something that I don't want to get suppressed down because I don't want this to happen again. And the reason I tell you guys this story is because I don't want you guys to be alone. If any one of you has any suicidal thoughts, depression, you guys have acted on those thoughts, those suicidal thoughts. My private messaging on Twitter is, I believe, open. Or you can comment on the video with your Twitter handle and I will DM you personally and I'll help you through this. But then I'm also going to put the United States suicide hotline into the description. And if any one of you guys are suffering please give them a call. Call the suicide hotline, DM me, or call someone in your family that you trust, or one of your friends, or someone that you trust near and dear to your heart. Because I don't want to see one of you guys go through what I did. Okay? There's a quote that I have lived by for the past few years. That was from Robin Williams, and I believe the quote was something along the lines of, I believe that comedians are the saddest people in the world, and that's why they try to make people laugh, is because they know what it feels like to feel absolutely worthless, and they don't want anyone to feel like that. And that is why I am so sarcastic in my videos. That is why I make the humorous puns every now and again, even though they were poorly timed after cutscenes and stuff like that. That is why I try to do that, because if I can make someone laugh, it makes me feel like that they are in a better mood than what they started in. But that's my story of my past and my depression and my suicidal actions. Again, National Suicide Hotline will be in the description. And please call me, or not call me, please DM me on Twitter if you guys need me. Okay? I have my Twitter handle on my About section on my page, on my YouTube channel, or comment your @ names on Twitter, and I shall DM you guys myself. And I will help you through as much as I can. But I just want to let you know, I love you guys, and I will be there every step of the way that you guys need me. Alright? And one last thing, I'm not telling you guys this because I want pity. I want you guys to understand why I am who I am. Alright? I love you guys, okay? Stay frosty out there.